Did they? This is just something because it's all just popped in my head. Is the original suit preserved?
No. Oh no, long
Okay,
gone.
I thought so.
Long
I
gone.
thought so.
I don't even think they started really trying to preserve any of their suits until the late 90s.
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
they just toss them. It
Tragic,
is. It really is tragic.
tragic.
But most of the Godzilla suits, I've noticed that if they use them in multiple movies, they do slight modifications to the head.
Doesn't Sorry to cut you off. Doesn't that fascinate you that like something can be made for a movie like this or like a production and it just gets tossed away
It it does and
like
it
it's
doesn't.
garbage?
Especially back then, they
Because
had no idea.
no, of course, and I understand that, but at the same time, doesn't it just like it just because it reminds me of All right, I'm sorry everyone. I'm going to talk about Pokemon again really quick. Um, but really, there's a point I'm going with this. When the height of that franchise was here in the States, they did like an American live show. I'm not even joking. This actually happened.
Really?
And recently, years later,
Oh, you
after
told me
that
about this. This
completely shut production, yeah, completely shut production, they found a shit ton of props just abandoned in like a Canadian theater. And like this theater was a small theater that no one like it did not play at this theater. Just a bunch of props abandoned left there for years. And the theory about it, and I need a this is I'm referencing the YouTuber Chad Tronic because he did research into this, that this theater served as like a transition point from the stateside performances to the international performances because a lot of the Pokemon props that were left there, those characters did not show up in the international shows. But it just to me, especially now with how big that franchise has gotten, and those things have just been laying there for years, I can never put to words my feelings on that. It's shocking and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to an extent that like these
yes.
pieces of like say whether or not the show the actual live show the quality of it that's not what I'm talking about. It's the fact that the work that went into these things for such a big franchise like that became such a big franchise now just left there
Well, I'm going to show you something
completely.
that's kind of sad too, and it
Yeah,
has to do with King Kong. It has to do with the spider
yeah.
pit.
Oh, this sounds really familiar, but show
The
it
spider.
definitely.
You if you first off, there's a lot of photographic proof that the spider pit was actually shot, and I believe it was. I believe the
Yeah,
footage was
yeah.
burned by Marion C. Cooper
That's
because that's what he did to deleted scenes.
yeah,
He liked to burn them. But here is some
yeah,
proof that the spider pit was actually
yeah, yeah,
shot. And
yeah,
again, that's from the recreation, so is
yeah.
that. But that is an original still to show you
Mhm.
that it really existed. That is the actual spider from the spider pit
Yeah,
sequence,
yeah,
and you can see the spider pit monsters in. Oh, by the way, that's a cool photo. There's the two armatures for King
yeah,
Kong
yeah, yeah. Look at him.
that were used. One had a bit of a longer face, another had a bit of a shorter one. But you can see them just to show you how like they didn't care. Oh, here's a good image too of some stills from the spider pit sequence, the real one.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but they just because they just didn't care, they wound up using the props in other movies as like things on like people's shelves and
yeah,
stuff like that. Like
yeah.
they just didn't care about preserving any of their stuff. I can't find it right now, but you can see it's an old
No,
horror
yeah,
movie
yeah,
where you just see all of the old spider pit monsters on display on shelves, all of these armatures, and I'm
yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
my god. And that's the only
yeah.
reason why that
It's yeah.
movie is remembered today, by the way.
They what the fuck happened? Where
I
did they
know I
go?
know the 91 Godzilla suit, the one from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, got stolen, which is why they had to make a different Godzilla suit for the next
Yeah,
movie, and they found the 91 Godzilla suit in a river. Yeah,
really.
something like that. I don't really know the
He
story
went
too
back
much, you know,
home.
but
He went back home.
somehow he got back home. But
Yeah.
and they did use him in the movie. They used
I
him a couple times in the movie. So,
I thought of someone just stealing one of those suits. It's kind of impressive. I won't lie.
oh yeah.
Because like They're huge. They're
They're
big
huge. They
suits.
weigh a ton. I think I
Yeah.
think the lightest suit made, official suit made,
Yeah.
according to Haruo Nakajima, was because apparently no, I don't know if it was the lightest suit was 85 pounds, which is
Mhm.
extremely light considering the fact that the first one was 200.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so so there. I know too much about this. I think I've said this multiple times. But give me a second. Let me look up something for you. And I want you. The quality of the show is astonishing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, let's see. Gorosaurus.
Oh shit. Our man's
Oh yeah,
Gorosaurus
he was
himself.
in. Oh, and you're gonna cry when you see the state of this suit. Found it. God-man.
God
Yeah.
man. I've not heard of
Behold.
God man. Oh shit. Oh no.
Shot on 16 millimeter.
Oh.
This was something that would
Oh,
premiere
Gorosaurus,
on
what happened to you?
Saturdays for kids.
Okay.
And it made me want to die. Look at that poor suit.
Oh my
Now
god.
this
Oh
was
no.
released. These were released in 1972. That suit had just been sitting rotting in Toho vaults. They did this with Gabara as well. Here's Gabara.
Oh.
Well, that's poop. But oh no, that's a frog.
It's a frog actually. The frogman!
But yeah, there's the
They're
Gabara suit
back!
from.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now here's the Gyra suit where they changed the head, but they kept the body from War of the Gargantuas, and it looks so
Yeah.
sad.
Oh man.
And remember, these are supposed to be giant monsters. But
Yeah.
oh, look at that. That's so sad. You see, they redid the face, but that was it.
Oh no. Oh
Isn't
no.
it sad, Lucas?
That is
It's
sad. That is
so
really
sad.
sad. That hurts.
I believe King Kong,
Especially for
King
Gyra.
Kong
Like,
from King Kong Escapes is in it, but they just called him Gorilla.
you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, they just called him Gorilla.
Oh, this might hurt me though, because as dumb as that suit looks, I fucking love the Toho Kong suit.
Oh, this is him versus Gorosaurus.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
final fight. Oh shit, yo.
Oh, that poor. I'll never complain about that. Oh, the 72 Godzilla suit ever again. The one that was used in Godzilla vs. Gigan, where you could see it falling apart because it was used in so many movies. As soon as I saw Gorosaurus, I was like, never again will I complain about that poor suit and say poor suit. Oh, poor Gorosaurus.
Poor Gorosaurus.
But like you can
what
see
happened to you?
like the framing of it had rotted, and you can see it like caving in.
What really got to me was like his upper arm was just wrong.
Oh yeah,
It was just
really
wrong.
wrong.
Like,
It looked like he was fat and then lost a lot of weight really quickly.
he looks like he's wearing like one of those like muscle shirts you would get for a costume underneath, but like the forearm flattened in on itself, so only the upper arm was like proper.
So like the only thing that's kind of sadder, but look, I think Anguirus, when you see Anguirus in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla in the last live chat that you were on with me, Lucas, I went into like how poor of
Yeah.
a state that suit was.
Yeah.
At least that was used, you know? Like
Yeah.
Gorosaurus hadn't been used since Destroy All Monsters. So it was
Yeah,
just
was that
sitting
the
there
last time
for a
that
few
last time-
years, and they were just like, "Oh, hey." Well, that's how the monsters got picked in Destroy All Monsters. Was they literally just opened their vault and said, "We can use that suit. We can use that suit. We can use this suit still. That suit's falling apart. We can't use that." That's literally what they did. And like the only reason why you only see Baragon for a little bit in Destroy All Monsters is because that suit had been repurposed so much by Tsuburaya
Yeah,
Productions for Ultra Q and Ultra Man. I
Yeah.
think there's like 3 Kaiju in Ultra Q where it's just the Baragon suit changed up a little bit.
Yeah.
That it was rotted, and so they couldn't do
Yeah.
anything with it. And like they couldn't use the Varan suit, but they still had a prop. And
Yeah.
and the Rodan suit hadn't been used since 65. And now it was 68, so they had to kind of do some patchwork on it to make it work for a little bit, but that's why it's mainly a prop, in the movie, and you don't see the
Yeah.
suit very often. So it was all just, what can we use? It wasn't like, oh, this was a popular monster and we can use him and throw him in here. No, it was... The only reason why you see the Mothra larva and not adult Mothra is because the adult Mothra prop had rotted away. So
It
it does
sucks.
suck.
It
It
sucks.
does suck.
It
But
sucks that like the originals like don't
no,
exist. It's
absolutely.
yo, you want to get back to existential shit? That's existential as fuck to me. That it's like like these fucking things like are iconic movie monsters and they just don't exist
They
anymore.
just
Like,
don't.
they're gone. Like
And it's like they didn't even think about.
bruh. It's like
It's like the 64 Godzilla suit used in Mothra vs. Godzilla and Ghidorah the three-headed monster. That was the Gomez suit in Ultra Q. They chopped off Godzilla's head and everything like that. And then they also made a Jiris, but by then they tossed the head away, but they still had the body. So what they did was, during the filming of Ebirah, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Agent Tsuburaya went up to the special effects director on that, Sadamasa Arakawa, and said, "Give me Godzilla's head."
yeah, I remember you told me this. You definitely told
They
me
chopped
this.
it off, put it on that suit. They had to completely make a bullshit face for it all of a sudden, and it looks like garbage. And it's just so funny how they cannibalized all of these fucking suits over and over
Yeah.
and over again. And ironically, the suits that were used more lasted longer. It was the suits that would sit in storage forever that they would rot. But if they were being used, they didn't rot as fast.
That's interesting, but I also maybe kind of
Yes,
understand that
I
a
think it
little bit.
makes sense, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah,
you find
yeah,
it
'cause it's like
fascinating.
yeah, it definitely is interesting because you'd think the one that you use more would decay quicker, but also keep in mind the one that you're not using is just sitting there in a
Well,
dark
the
room.
Nankai Goji suit, which was the name of the one that they made after Agent Tsuburaya chopped off its head.
Yeah.
The Nankai Goji suit was the one that was used on the second half of Ebirah Horror of the Deep. And that suit got used for every single scene where there was water. That became the Toho water suit. So you see it in Destroy All Monsters, you see it in Son of Godzilla, you see it. It's the suit that gets shit on in Godzilla vs. Hedorah. And that was the moment when they realized they have to throw it away, when it gets shit
I'm
all
really
over
disappointed in myself that it took me a second to process what you meant by get shit on, and I was like oh he got stomped. Oh wait, no, right, he gets literally shit on in that
gets
movie.
shit on in that movie, and it's awesome.
Like full on like
And it's
diarrhea.
awesome,
Like,
Lucas.
it is awesome.
But yeah, I've always found that funny. How, like, if you look at that suit as it progresses, because they keep using it in water scenes, it looks so sad. By the time they get to the final one, yeah, that was another suit where you could see the framing of like its chest just cave in and collapse, because it was just in that case it wasn't because it rotted, it was because it was used so much.
Yeah.
and in the worst conditions possible as well.
And water. Like,
any count what happened to the King Goji suit after Mothra versus Godzilla? Oh, it probably rotted because I don't know if you know this either, but in Mothra versus Godzilla, the King Goji suit, the one used from Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, appears in that movie. Yeah. Any scene where Godzilla's in the water is the King Kong versus Godzilla suit.
I'd have to rewatch it and actually pay attention.
You can tell. You can tell. And the one scene.
But yeah, that suit is also really
that's
unique.
That's the one scene where you can really
like...
tell it's the King Kong versus Godzilla suit is at the end when he's all wrapped up in Mothra's web. That is the King Kong versus Godzilla suit falling into the water. Yeah. And it really wouldn't surprise me, Justin, if they just threw it away. Yeah. It really wouldn't surprise me, which is unfortunate. And by throwing it away, I mean literally just tossing it away. Or leaving it to rot in a shelter. Because, like, I believe Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the Mechagodzilla suit, the original Mechagodzilla suit, they don't have anymore. It rotted. But I believe they still have the Terror of Mechagodzilla suit.
Bro, you know what? Like, in the same vein of, like props and like costumes rotting away. Imagine a world where we still had the giant Jurassic Park T-Rex.
Do you know what happened to that? Did they just tear it apart
I
because they didn't want other movies? Because that's common too. Companies will tear apart
yeah,
their stuff
like
so that other companies don't
I don't
use
know
it.
the history to it, but I know like it definitely doesn't exist anymore. Maybe did they keep the head
They
and
might have kept
preserve
the
the head
head. If
properly?
there's anything they were going to keep, it was going to be the head.
But like imagine they had that full fucking thing. That would be awesome to see in person.
But yeah, like I think they found the King Kong escape suit in like an old warehouse, abandoned warehouse, where it was like all grown in with trees and moss and
Wait. I need it. All right. By King Kong escape suit, do you mean King Kong or do you mean
both.
Mechani Kong? Follow up question. Oh, is that what happened to
I
Mechani
think that is
Kong?
what happened to Mechanicon. Let me see if I
I
have
want
any
to fucking
photos.
I want to fucking die.
It is. It's really sad that that is what they did with
No,
them.
my man's he became a tree.